Hello, welcome to Qianmo Accountants, and welcome to this guide on how to complete a BAS, which is Business Activity Statement in Australia. No matter if you are a company accountant in Australia or if you are working in an accounting firm, knowing how to complete a business activity statement, a BAS, is a key skill. In this video, we will walk you through what is a BAS and why it is important, what the common labels are, especially for the GST, the PAYG, etc., how to gather your numbers, complete the BAS, lodge it, and manage the payment. What is a BAS and when is it required? A BAS is basically the form businesses send to the ATO to say, hey, here are all the taxes we owe. We now report them. Please don't chase us. There are heaps of things that get reported on a BAS, like the GST, the PAYG withholding, the PAYG installments, FBT installments, luxury car tax, wine equalization tax, fuel tax credits. You might be thinking, wow, the list feels longer than a Woolies receipt. What on earth does any of that mean? Don't worry, they are actually not that complicated as it looks. Most businesses won't need to worry about the luxury car tax, the wine equalization tax, and the fuel tax credits. The most common reporting fields are the GST, the PAYG withholding, and the PAYG installments. And let's look at what they are in this video. The frequency of lodging depends on your turnover and the tax obligations of your business. If the business has a GST turnover of over 20 million, the BAS is monthly. If the business has less than 20 million GST turnover, then it is generally quarterly. For some small businesses for which the turnover is really small, the business can lodge annually. When you've just started to work in an accounting firm, you will typically deal with quarterly BAS for small business clients. If you work as an accountant within a business, the BAS reporting frequency will generally be monthly or quarterly, depending on the business size. However, if your employer has engaged an accounting firm to handle the BAS reporting, your role would be reconciling the accounts and collaborating with the firm's accountants rather than worrying about the BAS reporting yourself. What are the steps of reporting business activity statements then? The first step is to identify which taxes needs to be reported on the BAS. Since the BAS can cover many different taxes, it's important to determine which ones applies to your business and then select the appropriate BAS form that includes those taxes. Because listing all possible taxes on a single form would make it unnecessarily long, so the ATO provides different combinations of the taxes on different types of BAS forms. This way, you submit a form that only includes the taxes relevant to your reporting obligations. You can find the exact form you need on the ATO's website, such as the BAS Form A, BAS Form C, and so on. So when lodging online, you also need to select the correct form for your BAS submission. Among all the taxes reported on the BAS, GST reporting is often the most complex and time-consuming. So in this video, I will cover the detailed steps, generally how to complete the GST section of the BAS. Step 1. Gather and reconcile your data to get the correct GST calculation. You need to ensure the bookkeeping is up to date. When we work for a client's BAS reporting in accounting firms, the first thing we check is if the bank reconciles, which means if the bank balance in our accounting software as of, say, the 30th of September agrees to the bank balance on that date on the bank statements issued by the bank. So that is the bank reconciliation. Why does this matter? Well, if they agree, at least to me, that means there is a big chance all the cash transactions have been recorded and coded in the software up to this date. Although even it reconciles, it does not guarantee that all transactions are recorded correctly, because when you look at the details, there can still be incorrect coding and reconciliation is only just achieved by accident. But at least when the balances does not balance, then there definitely will be a problem, right? So once we have confirmed the balances are balanced to the bank statements, the next thing we will look is the details of the transactions. We look at if the coding has been correct. Have the sales, the purchases, and the payroll, etc. for this reporting period been input in the software correctly? Has the GST recorded correctly to the sales invoices issued, the purchase and expenses invoices and receipt we have received? Has the wages paid and the PAYG withholding recorded correctly, etc.? As an accountant, whether in an accounting firm or working for a business, we ensure that we have posted all GST tax transactions correctly in the accounting software. Once we are confident with our accounts for this period, we can now generate the BAS reporting. Most accounting software lets you generate the BAS on either a cash basis or an accrual basis. Cash basis means you only report sales and purchases when the money actually changes hands. Accrual basis means you report them as soon as you've issued the invoice to your clients or you have received an invoice to pay from your suppliers, even no one has actually paid yet. Most businesses stick with accrual because it lines up better with their overall accounting reports. Some small businesses, though, might choose cash basis simply because it's easier to manage. Step 2. Complete the GST section on the BAS. Once we've got the data from the accounting software, we fill the key fields required on the BAS reporting for the GST. The key fields are G1, total sales. This is all taxable sales. You can choose including GST or excluding GST for the total sales you report in G1. 1A, it's GST on sales. This is the GST you've charged your customers, which means collected during the reporting period. And 1B, GST on purchases. This is the tax credits you are claiming for business purchases made during this period for which you hold valid tax invoices. If you are using simpler BAS, you only need to fill those 3 for the GST part. Most small and medium-sized businesses whose turnover is less than 10 million would be eligible for choosing the simpler BAS reporting. Otherwise, you might need to fill in additional GST labels if your total turnover is over the threshold, like you will need to fill in the G10, G11 for the total purchases and the exports, etc. Step 3. Complete the PAYG withholding, PAYG installments, and other tax sections. Once GST is settled, move to other tax obligations if you need to report them as well. Generally, all the other taxes are a lot easier than GST reporting, I think. PAYG withholding, on the BAS, you will enter W1, which is the gross wages the business has paid, and W2, which is the tax withheld from the wages you have paid for the period. So as to how much PAYG withholding tax is supposed to be withheld, the ATO actually publishes the withholding tax form, and we just need to make sure that we follow the ATO's publications on this matter. So as an accountant, we ensure the business's payroll system is up to date, that the total wages and wages withholding matches the amounts reported in the pay slips and payroll reports. It's also quite common for businesses to report PAYG installments as well. PAYG installments is different to the PAYG withholding. It has nothing to do with the wages the businesses pay. Say if your business is making a profit, then the ATO will usually ask you to start paying the taxes throughout the year instead of at the end of the year. What they do is that they look at what you have earned last year, estimate what the business might earn this year, and then they set small quarterly payments for you. It's like paying your electricity bill in installments instead of getting slammed with a giant bill at the end, right? So for installments, the ATO usually would have already calculated it for the business and sent the notice to the business. So we normally just check the ATO's notice and fill in the installments amount. If the business thinks that the ATO hasn't got it correctly, they can choose to vary it. Step 4. Lodge in the BAS and pay any amounts due. So by far, we have basically completed the BAS. In the very end, we then do a thorough check to ensure that the totals from your source accounting system and your work paper match the BAS labels. Then we can go on and lodge the BAS. For accountants who work in accounting firms, we will need the client's signature before we can lodge the BAS through to the ATO. The ATO provides several lodging options online via the ATO's business portal, using accounting software, through a registered tax agent, which is the accounting firm, or by mail for paper forms, if some business might choose in that way. If the BAS lodgement results in a payable position, they need to be paid in time too. If the amounts payable is large or cash flow is tight, usually the ATO accepts organizing a payment plan with the businesses as well. But lodging late will usually lead to penalties issued from the ATO, so lodging late is not a good idea. Alright, that's pretty much about the steps of completing a typical BAS reporting in Australia businesses or Australia accounting firms. It's actually a routine part of our work as an accountant. Thank you for watching, and if you want more insights into accounting career in Australia, I've put together resources and training materials to help people become job ready for accounting industry here in Australia. Check the link in the description below to learn more, and good luck on your accounting career journey. Qianmo Accountants help Australian graduates start their accounting career.